Back to Hope at Dawn right here at Hope TV. Apologies for coming in late, but of course, better late than never. And we are having our conversation of the day on relationship resonance. And today we are talking about how do we handle midlife crisis. Our guest is already in studio, a counseling psychologist. Her name is Jane Ngatia. Any question you could be having, interact with us across all our social media platforms and also on our YouTube channel. We are live as well. Drop a message on our WhatsApp platform 0708 222 323. Let's allow Jane Ngatia to take the center stage. Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Karibu sana.
Nice to see you again.
It's a pleasure
and
to always
happy
have
to
you.
be on Hope TV once again.
Karibu sana.
Yes.
We are talking about midlife crisis and how to handle the same, but a brief introduction of yourself so that we get to know who we are talking to.
Wow, what a good opportunity for me to say I'm Jane Ngatia.
Yes.
I'm sure the viewer has already known that. And I'm a counseling psychologist.
Okay.
I counsel people, I train people, and I love what I do.
Yeah.
Because this is where we make life better, valuable, and we don't give up.
Yeah.
So we keep on. So I practice counseling in the city center of Nairobi.
All right.
And I love people and working with people. And the reason why I'm here,
Yes.
because I'm sure we shall be able to get a large audience,
Yes.
and they are going to benefit from what we are saying.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And if you can help us as we get into today's conversation, when we talk of midlife crisis, what are we talking about?
Wow, that's a very good question.
Yeah.
And first of all, let me clarify that really it doesn't have to be a crisis. But the reason why it will be dubbed a crisis is because of the many things that will happen. So midlife is a developmental stage.
Okay.
Just like one time we came from childhood, we went to teenage, we went to adolescent, and we went to young adults and so on. So it is a developmental stage in life where things will be changing, the new things will be coming in, we shall be dropping the older things.
Yeah.
And actually, the reason why it probably qualifies to many people to be a crisis is because there's too much that is happening. It's like at the peak of we are in our 50s, in our 60s, and we begin now to look around where we have come from and where we are going. We are kind of like at the top. And we begin to descend. And when we begin to think that we are going down somewhere, then we are in kind of a rush. We are hurrying up because we are probably at the middle, or we have lived the bigger part of our lives. So the longest journey has been covered.
All right.
If on average we said God has given us 70, 80 years, thereabout, and I'm in my 50, or my 60s, and then it means I have already seen the better days.
Yeah.
And there is that kind of anxiety that comes. What next? What about my children?
Yeah.
And apparently, and surprisingly, there is someone else who is walking the journey with me, who is also going through a kind of crisis, the same way.
Yes.
So when we are in midlife, it is good to think of what is it we are dealing with.
Yes.
We are probably dealing with our children, if we have them. They are probably teenagers, adolescents, and we also talk about the teenage crisis, the adolescent crisis. And here is a mother or a father, or both parents for the better part of it, who are taking care of their growing up children, who are also looking up because they want to climb up as quickly as possible to salvage time. And for me, I have to guide them. I have to create a relationship that is quality. So I have myself to cater for or to be concerned about. Maybe I even want to change career. And so I am helping somebody find career. I am already in my own career, assuming I'm a career woman. And then I also think I should change my career. Maybe it's high time I went back to school so that I can make things better as I look down to, go down the mountain, if you like, and I go strong. Just like I climbed onto that mountain strong. So there is that feeling and thinking. It actually involves the emotional, psychological, physical, mental. It takes the whole person.
Yes.
And so this person in the midlife is dealing with quite a lot. And by the way, not forgetting, I could also be having my parent who is still living.
Yeah.
But you see, they are much older. And so they are going through an old age crisis.
Yeah.
Everyone is in crisis.
Yes.
We have like 3 people in a chain who are also in a relationship and they are going through a crisis.
Yes, yes.
Now think of it. It becomes quite a rocky road, if you like, to travel. It becomes so bumpy, even to drive over those many bumps that we begin to see. So it is important that then we think of it as a time that I need to maybe look into the relationships. Because relationships affect how I negotiate this midlife.
Yeah.
And by the way, it is important that I negotiate this midlife. Because I could get stuck. Ever seen someone stuck on the bump?
Yeah.
No, it feels terrible. It feels like I don't know what I've lost. My car is stuck. And I don't know whether to move forward or to move backwards. And some people move backwards. Surprisingly again, and very sad, because life is not designed in a way that we go back where we came from. We are only supposed to move forward.
Yeah.
And as we move forward, we are trying to negotiate a few things on the road, on the way, assuming it's a highway. There will be a few potholes here and there, but we must be able to negotiate and not get back because we cannot reverse on the highway.
Yes,
we can only move forward.
Yes.
That's
so
true.
midlife is that kind of situation that we can figure out. But it is important to know about it. And I believe in this session, we are going to have it all. And we are going to get out of the bump.
Yes.
Should anyone be stuck out there, we need to move forward.
True.
Because we are holding someone's hand. So if we got stuck, we could also get someone else stuck. Imagine trying to reverse on a highway and there are all these motorists behind me who expect that I'm moving. Imagine how many accidents I would cause. It would be a bigger crisis than even what we are talking.
True.
Yeah.
Wow, that's such a powerful foundation to lay, even as we get into this conversation. And, one thing we know is that women and men are different, even when it comes to how we age, the things we consider important. So maybe talk about how a midlife crisis would appear for a man and for a woman. Basically, what are the differences?
Wow, that's a very important observation you have made there. Talk about gender disparity and negotiating the midlife. Yes, it so happens that they negotiate very differently.
True.
It's just like the way you hold your steering. And that may determine how comfortable you are. So there are those who actually become very comfortable because they find it very hard. For a woman, let's assume a mother who also has other duties to take care of. I talked about career. I could probably be thinking, I need to change my career now. Otherwise, I have no other chance. There is that kind of rushing through something. I also have other responsibilities because I'm still the mother of my children. And I'm still the wife to my husband. If that is the situation within a family setting. So I have so many people to take care of. Because I must mind the business of how is the family going. How is that child who is in college? Why are they not performing? Why are they repeating exams? So I'm thinking about other people. I'm also thinking about how smart he should look now that he's also aging. He has to keep up. I mean, he must be up to the task, up to the game. So for the woman, it is a very busy time. It can be a very tight rope as we climb up. So it is important for us also to realize the gender disparity and actually do even what we call self-care. I have to remember that I have myself. I could hold other people's hand and I'm actually behind, but I'm able to push them to move forward while I get lagging behind. And that is not a desirable scenario, because somehow these children, you still move.
Yeah.
They still have to make their way out, even though they need guidance. Now, for men, unfortunately, men are more likely to get stuck. Maybe I'm now speaking to you.
Yeah.
You have the tips early in advance.
Early in advance. I'm taking notes.
Yes. So men are likely to they have a higher risk factor. Let me put it that way.
Yes.
They have a higher chance of getting stuck on the bump because somehow men also need to be guided at some point. You know, we talk about the helper. So this is the time that the helper, who happens to be the spouse, if they're still around, to hold their hand. It would be worse if the spouse is also not aware that this man that used to move as fast and faster than myself now also needs guidance. Because I'll feel nagged. And you know, that now affects the relationship. And it's like, I cannot hold the child's hand, the teenager, and also hold you as an adult. Surely find your way. And they will not find their way so easily. Because somehow they expect that life is going to move smoothly. When it doesn't, there is a bit of confusion that arises there. So little wonder that a few men, not all, and I'm not gender discriminative in this case, will go back, like taking a step back, looking for something else to make them feel stronger, to make them feel better, in search of a better and a healthier and stronger feeling as they also move down the mountain. You know, they have to go back like they started somewhere, and now they also have to move down. It requires energy to be able to move. So if one is not able to hold on to their brakes, or their brakes mechanisms are not as strong, wanaweza teleza, you know the way we say in Kiswahili, they can get a bad slide. And that slide can push them too fast to a fall. And that fall can cause an injury. So some men get back. They want to remarry again. That's not very surprising, even for the men who are hearing this. And it's not their fault. It's only that they haven't been guided well. They are not aware. There's something we call self-awareness. So if a person is aware that I'm likely to find these kinds of bumps ahead, and I need to have less serious. That's the other thing that is needed in midlife crisis negotiation. We call it a negotiation, because I'm negotiating with a situation that I have to move. So they want kind of like to remarry all over again. They start lives and it's like, what's going on? What's happening? I thought they had children. And I thought they are able to move and take care of their families. They are looking for another family. So it can be very confusing. They want to feel strong. They want to feel wanted. They want to feel like there are people around them who actually give them attention. Because that's also the other thing. There isn't time to pay too much attention to each other, especially for a couple that is negotiating the midlife together. And chances are very high that they are actually negotiating at the same time. If everything went as naturally provided for. So that becomes a real crisis. So a couple can find themselves in such a difficult situation that they even want to go it alone. As in, I can do it alone. I've come a long journey. I mean, even if we parted ways now, and little wonder again, and sadly, that separation and divorce in marriage happen at such a time. It is very unfortunate, because the opposite should happen, where they stick to with each other, I mean to each other, and they are able to hold each other's hands, and each of them hold a child by the side, and get them see the way by themselves. And then as the old age sets in, they can be able to negotiate it as well.
Yeah.
Because there's another big bump. The aging, the fear of the unknown, the fear of how will it be like in the future. So when we are in the midlife, it's an opportunity for us first to evaluate where we have come from. We don't want to go back there, but we are also counting on our successes, on our failures, and we can make it better. We still have another opportunity. And then we are telling ourselves, we have come this far, and so the journey remaining should not also be a big challenge. We shall negotiate that too. And we need to build the resilience. We need to grow muscles, you know, as it were, maybe tough muscles, because we still have to keep going. With or without so much support, we need to keep going. So that is how the scenario is about midlife. It can be negotiated very well. A lot of people in the world have negotiated. Christians have negotiated. Non-Christians, because this is a way of life, and we all need to be aware. I believe through this conversation we have on this TV show, it is actually going to benefit a lot of people. And from today, not too many people who are following this program should be able to, should be stuck. We should move forward. Life is good. Life is good. I love that. Good at all levels. It should be good. We should see it as such. It's God given. God has given it that way, that we shall age at some point, and other people will come after us. But because we showed them the way, that we went all the way. We are now in our 70s. We are in our 80s. We are in our 90s, if God so provides. And we are going strong. And yesterday I had an interesting revelation. Somebody talked about they celebrated someone at 100 years.
Wow.
And they are sober. As in, they are able to listen. And they are saying, life has been good all through. Even now, as I wait upon the Lord, life is still good. I look forward to such a time. May God grant us, especially those who believe that it is God-given, that every stage has its own tasks that we must be aware of, that we must be able to carry on. We must carry on. It is a journey. And then when we finish it, we say we finish strong, not weak. And others can look, those behind us can look forward to finishing like Ngatia. All of us. That is the message.
I tell you, because you mentioned and you said that I will learn a lot. I have so many questions, especially as a man, what you have said in as far as men and the midlife crisis is concerned. And also because it, as you said, rightly so, it affects men mostly, but also the ripple effect to that is that marriages are affected by the same, and you have highlighted some of these things. How then do we ensure that we guard our marriages against, when midlife crisis hits, that we guard our marriages? And again, if you would, belabor the point of the helper. Because as you said, the helper at this particular point will play a critical role in ensuring that this man does not drift away.
Wow, what an observation. I like that. So, yes, to make sure that we don't get stuck, first of all, there is something we call talk therapy. Talking about what I feel. Expressing myself in a safe environment. Talking to people who can listen. And hopefully they can conceptualize what I am trying to put across. So I feel tired. That's okay, especially as we are, climbing up and getting to the peak of the midlife. There is that fatigue that comes. Part of it is even mental. Part of it is psychological. I am assuming that this is the time we don't have to report to work too early. Probably we have just retired. We could have retired ourselves, and therefore we are able to program ourselves. We need to realize that the energy level is slowing. It's getting less and less because as the body, fatigue. We have negotiated so many things in our lives. And therefore we don't have that much energy. We need to slow down. We need to take a step at a time. For Leo, one day at a time. That I've lived today. I saw yesterday. Yesterday I was not in this studio. Today I'm here. I'm doing something different that makes me happy as well. Tomorrow I look forward to something else, as opposed to trying to do too many things at the same time. I had already indicated that there's a rush in the mind. A kind of time is running out. It's almost time out. I need to do this. I need to finish this water at once. And what have you. So we need to realize that we need to slow down. We need to move a little slowly, but we need to have things done. Supporting one another. Yes. The helper should still be added. You know, the stronger person should be encouraging the other one. Sometimes people feel like they are giving up. Like, what am I living for? I mean, I thought I did my job, I did everything. Now people don't see me as if I have any contribution in life anymore, particularly if we have retired. No retirement also comes, it's a package that brings in something into the midlife. So sometimes we are tempted to think that we are no longer so useful. We are not in active employment if we used to. If we used to do our business up to midnight, we are no longer able to keep up. And kind of there is a state of hopelessness that seems to set in. We must fight that very hard. Yes, I'm still useful. Yes. I'm still useful to someone. Look at what we are talking now. We are talking stuff that is so useful to the community and even to myself and to all of us. So we need to appreciate ourselves. Whatever gives us higher self-esteem, we have to go for it. Could it even be the way we change our, sometimes people say, even doing a wardrobe, you know, facelift. Can give me better self-esteem. You know, when I came in, you said I'm looking good. Leave the viewer So that is maybe part of trying to negotiate for myself that yes, I'm still very important. I should keep up. I should still take care of myself. And that raises my self-esteem so that that feeling of I'm no longer as good as before. I may not do the 100 meters marathon, you know, but I'm still able to do a few other things that can make me move at my pace. So it is important that people also communicate. Talking to each other, not at each other. Talking to each other. How did you wake up today? You know, I find myself even wanting to greet my spouse. I've greeted them for over 30 years that we have been together, close to 40. And now I feel like, we need to spend more time together. That helps a lot. Dinner out, lunch out together, even just a glass of water together. I mean, let's see it. How was it like? If we are watching news, watching TV, a program like this one, we are not as busy, we can do this together. What's your program like? You know, and we can always help to slow each other down, where we realize we are moving so fast, we are running too fast to a point of we could easily fall. And we said we don't want an injury. By the way, even a physical fall should not happen. We just have to calculate our steps. We just have to need to know what we need to do today, and then something else will be done tomorrow. We are still remembering we have our children who need our guidance. Maybe they need to be, you know, again, have communication from us. We need to have a family MOU once in a while. Our aging parents, if they are still around, we still have to take care of them. Those are responsibilities that God gave us. Who knows why we are even living a little longer to negotiate all these crises, including the very old age. We have a role to do. Until the end of life, everyone have something to do. And we have to identify what it is we need to do. And if we have to do it, we must do it well. There's no excuse here. Oh, now I'm old, I can't do this, I can't do that. Those are the things that make people invite a state of hopelessness. Helplessness. And that's how depression comes. And depression is a little enemy to midlife crisis and also to old age.
Yeah.
So we must not invite that kind of anxiety, distress, and restlessness. No, the world is still, I like saying, the earth is still rotating around the sun.
Yes.
It will still do the rounds that happen.
Yeah.
Whether I lament or I don't lament. So take it easy. Let's do one thing at a time and move with what we can be able to move. Bite what we can chew and swallow. That is the way of life.
Awesome, and I like it, and thank you so very much for that, for reminding us that even as men especially, because we have been addressed directly, that the solution to midlife crisis, when you find yourself in that midlife crisis, the solution is not to remarry. The solution is not to separate with your wife. It is not to divorce or leave your wife. The Bible talks to us and tells us, enjoy the wife of your youth. That is the time. And she says, rekindle that love. Hold her hand. Walk, unajua, in that old age, walk in the estate there.
Many will be learning from just observing.
Exactly, just observing. The young people will be observing and learning. So, rekindle, take that glass of water together, you know, watch news together again, and enjoy each other's company. So, don't start all over again. That is not the solution.
I believe that has hit home.
It has hit home.
and there is just something that I feel in the few minutes that we have remaining, we need to talk about. I think one of the things I admire about you, Jane, is how you live your life and the fulfillment of purpose. Because being that you're a counseling psychologist, you're training, you're helping so many other people. Your life is basically about helping other people. So maybe even as we navigate the midlife crisis and the midlife in itself, because as you said, it doesn't have to be a crisis, maybe talk about the place of fulfilling purpose and knowing that, you know, our satisfaction should be in fact drawn from knowing that even when I leave this earth, I will have left a mark.
Oh, yes. I like that one, leaving a mark.
Yes.
In other words, some people call it leaving a legacy. We must leave that indelible mark. And that mark shall be seen when we are long gone because of the things that we did when we were able to do them.
Yeah.
I've talked about even being a role model to others. You know, younger people will always look up to older people. How are they doing it? Because most likely, when they get to that point, you know, of life, they will do it the way they saw it being done.
Yes.
So it is very important that we keep doing it the right way. Somehow God has given us a way of thinking that this is the best way to do it, and I can't do it a different way.
Yeah.
There is something we call crystallized intelligence. And this is what gives us the basis for kind of experience. We did it another time, and we did it badly or wrongly. We cannot repeat it the same way because we have had an experience. We burnt our fingers somehow.
Yeah.
We cannot afford to burn them again. So that crystallized intelligence is very important in the sense that I know I have passed through there. And that is why it is easy for me to ask this younger person, could be my child, could be my neighbor, could be just the young people that I interact with. Even in counseling, as I do, the purpose is I have to do everything possible to guide this person, not to get stuck in the stage where they are, but help them using my crystallized intelligence that if you go it that way, there is a danger. You are likely to find a very big bumps ahead, and that bump could destroy your car, you know, and it could be a write-off if you are not careful.
Yes.
So it is important that we guide others. That's one way that actually we are living a purposeful life because we are already sharing our experiences with other people. We are guiding them. We are sharing what you have. And sharing is not just removing my jacket and giving someone because I've seen they have a need. It is also giving them words of advice, words of wisdom, words of guidance, and even doing it in love. You know, as we age, Others are likely to imagine, what do they know?
Yeah.
Did they even know technology? Did they even know Twitter? Did they know this or that?
Yeah.
But anyway, the whole thing is about just doing it right, doing the best, helping people.
Yeah.
There is something that anyone in the midlife need to remember.
Yeah.
The society invested in me.
Yeah.
The reason why I am where I am. Otherwise, I would have been stuck. Somebody put effort to give me a push, to make sure that I move forward. So I should also give back to the society, investing in people.
Yeah.
If you like, you call it social investment, whatever it is, but we must be able to give back to the society.
Yeah.
That person who can't lift their hand, maybe their right hand, I could hold their hand and ask them, would you like to follow me? How far do you want to go? I could show you the way.
Yeah.
I can sacrifice something. Apparently, God gives us an opportunity, I believe. And I think I don't have to do research on this one.
Yeah. Yeah.
To live longer than a few other people,
Yeah.
so that I have an opportunity to invest in another person, so that when they get to where I'm studying, they don't have to sit down. They can keep walking and walking. And that is how generations of quality are supposed to live.
Yeah.
So we help those others. And it doesn't have to be my relative.
No.
Like now I teach.
Yeah.
I teach so many people. I teach in the university. I teach in an institution of counseling.
Yeah.
And what am I doing? I do it with passion because I want to invest. It is an opportunity that has knocked at my door, that I can share this much and make a difference in so many people because I have something that they do not have. And it doesn't have to be the intellectual, capacities. It doesn't have to be the intellectual property. It can be anything else. Just giving words of wisdom.
Yeah.
If I'm invited, Jane, come to speak to us about let's say, the adolescent crisis, because them too they have.
Yeah.
I go running. I mean, because it is another opportunity.
Yeah.
So for people in the midlife, we need to learn not to be so selfish. Yes, I can take a holiday. If I can afford an expensive one, even a trip out of my country, I should, if I can afford.
Yeah.
But it is not just about myself. I need also to identify a need somewhere. And somehow in life, there is always an opportunity to lift somebody's hand and put them on a kind of lane where their lives will also be good into the future. So that should be, and that is now the legacy.
Yes.
But we have to do it right, because if we do it badly, they'll say, they are still hanging around. And the way they just, they just talk and it's like you don't want to sit there. I should be a magnet in myself.
Yeah.
I should be able to attract as many people as I can around myself and then do the positive things that need to be done. The little that we can do, everyone has an opportunity.
Jane, thank you so much. Time has really gone. We have tried to even stretch it.
Yes.
But this is a conversation that cannot end. And we will try and see how then again we can continue with this conversation and even maybe marry the same with adolescent crisis, teen crisis, and how to navigate through actually the stages of life. So thank you so very much. Maybe how can we connect with you? Someone would want to connect with you.
Easy, especially because I'm in the midlife.
Yeah.
I expect many to connect with me.
Yes.
So I practice counseling and I also teach in an institution called East Africa Institute of Professional Counseling. We are in the city center of Nairobi, and we are in a building called Summit House, third floor, opposite Nairobi Central Police Station or near Jivanji Gardens.
Okay.
And if anyone called in this studio, wanted to have my number, I've no reservation, I'm in midlife. I just want to do my thing and benefit as many. So we can connect. I'm a counseling psychologist by profession.
Yes.
I said that earlier. and I love my job.
Awesome.
Let's do it together.
Yes.
And make life better. And together, we can do more.
All right. Thank you so very much, Jane Ngatia, and for your wisdom, your nuggets of wisdom, and also your knowledge. Thank you. We appreciate. Thank you also for tuning in to today's episode of the show. Make sure you share today's link, especially with people that you love, so that they can get to learn a thing or two as well. God willing, we do this again tomorrow morning. We have the Beyond the Melody segment, and Mrs. Nudi will be here to take you through the same. For me, we are meeting tomorrow at 7 p.m. That is on Men on Record. From me, George Gishuru, it's Kwaheri for now.
And my name is Beatrice Nudi. See you guys tomorrow morning. Kwaherini.